The time now is 7 minutes past 8, and you're listening to Good Morning Scotland with Gary Robertson and Laura Maxwell. And the Scottish Government is expected to hand over 14,000 WhatsApp messages to the UK COVID inquiry after a Section 21 legal order was handed to Holyrood. The First Minister, Hamza Yousaf, is among MSPs who will be sharing messages after the government was criticised for not handing over all relevant data to the inquiry. Former First Minister Nicola Sturgeon refused to say whether she'd deleted any messages, but she told reporters in the Scottish Parliament she had nothing to hide. Well, let's get more on this now with our political editor, Glenn Campbell. Morning to you, Glenn.
Good morning, Laura.
Some of the front pages this morning dubbing this a Scottish Government U-turn. Is it?
Well, the Scottish Government asked the UK inquiry to issue the legal order, the so-called Section 21, to give them the legal cover that they feel they need to release this dump of WhatsApp data, the 14,000 messages that Shona Robertson, the Deputy First Minister, has said will be with the UK inquiry by Monday. Now, it's not entirely clear to me why the Scottish Government felt they needed the legal order where others have handed over similar data without, as far as I know, requiring a similar order. Anyway, that's where we are, and the lawyers for the Scottish COVID bereaved certainly see this as a significant step forward, but they still have huge questions about what data will be handed over and how much may have been deleted and therefore not available to be handed over to the inquiry. And they also think that the time it's taken to get to this stage, the way in which the Scottish Government has gone about things, has shattered the trust that bereaved relatives have in the Scottish Government, and Shona Robertson apologised for that yesterday, and I believe the First Minister, Hamza Yousaf, will meet with relatives at some point.
That's what was missing in the statement, wasn't it, as to whether any of these messages that may or may not have been deleted can be retrieved?
Yeah, and I'm not sure I have the technical or legal knowledge to know what it might be possible to retrieve that has been deleted, but there are still questions about who has deleted what and how much value there may be to that. The bottom line here is, I mean, if you're in any doubt about why these messages matter, just look at the evidence the UK inquiry has already heard, including private messages released to it from figures within the UK government. Only yesterday, Boris Johnson's former chief advisor, Dominic Cummings, appeared and lawyers read out expletive-laden messages from him in which he characterised as incompetent many of the key figures running the pandemic response at the UK level. Now, that's not just intriguing, it reveals a culture and a sense of chaos, really, within the UK government at that time. Now, I have no idea whether the messages, the chatter between Scottish Government ministers and officials would be anything like as exciting. In fact, when I think of some of the characters involved, I'd be surprised if they were. But the point is, it is for the UK inquiry and ultimately the Scottish Public Inquiry too to decide. They need access to everything in order to sift it and work out what is relevant and what is not.
And you heard from both Nicola Sturgeon and John Swinney, the two most senior ministers in government at the time of the pandemic, yesterday. Neither of them, though, confirmed or denied whether they've deleted any messages.
Neither Nicola Sturgeon or John Swinney would say what they were able to hand over to the inquiry and what may not be available because it had been deleted. They simply wouldn't be drawn on that, although Nicola Sturgeon said that she had nothing to hide, and it was a similar response from John Swinney. The difficulty for them is that the new First Minister, Hamza Yousaf, has felt able to say that he retained all his WhatsApp messages and will hand them over in full to the inquiry. So if he's able to say that, why can't they? They say they want to engage directly with the inquiry and that the conversations with the inquiry are necessarily private. But if he could give that assurance, presumably they could too, if it was possible to say that they still had everything. If they've deleted things, then clearly that would not be the case. But they say they'll give everything that they do have to the UK inquiry, and their position will become clear as we move towards them giving evidence directly to that inquiry in public.
And just finally, do we have any are we any further clearer about official government WhatsApp policy? Because Hamza Yusuf said, well, we think we have to delete stuff after a month, but then he says he kept his messages anyway. So where are we with that?
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, if you look at the records management policy for the Scottish Government, it is opaque at points, but basically it suggests that records should be kept. If something can help with the official record, it should be retained. That appears to be in conflict with a separate policy for mobile messaging that Hamza Yusuf has referred to, but I don't think has yet been made public, which suggests it's good practice to delete, for instance, WhatsApp messages within 30 days. The Scottish Government squares that circle by saying it is still for those who are deleting messages to sift through them and to retain on the official government record any that might be useful. So it's not saying delete everything, it's saying extract from your messages what is important for the official record, make sure that is kept before deletion. Now, it appears different people in government have interpreted these rules in different ways, and it seems that that will be an area that will need to be looked at and reviewed at some point.
Glenn, thank you very much indeed, our political editor, Glenn Campbell there.